Minecraft, there are three main types of PvP. One being the sword, two being the axe, and three being the mace. So today I'm going to be walking through a little bit of each one of the big three PvP modes. First, let's start with sword PvP. Sword PvP's fundamentals are basically simple. You go in, you keep on hitting, and try to perform combos. One of the key things in sword PvP is to always keep moving. If you keep moving, your opponent has no idea which direction you're going to go in. There's also a few other tricks that can go with sword PvP quite nicely. Like, for example, there's a special move called knockback displacement, where you are able to control your enemy's knockback by switching directions real fast. But first, oh shoot. But first, let me explain to you some little tricks I use to normally win at sword. 1. Go for jump crits, which is jumping in Minecraft deals more damage. So jumping repeatedly does damage. Also, if you spam click like this, it always wastes damage, because you see that bar underneath my cursor? When that's full, it does more damage when you wait until that bar to be done. As you can see here, if I'm just spam clicking, his health doesn't go down as fast. But if I go like this, it goes down faster. You see how my opponent isn't moving around enough? That means he's easier to hit. I too, of course, could be hitting more combos and be doing better, but I still haven't learned that yet. Next up, we have Axe. Axe is a very similar game mode to sword, except, well, you have an axe. You also are equipped with a shield. The funny thing about the shield is, the main reason that the shield is an axe PvP is because the shield is easily disabled by the axe. Watch. As he's gonna hold up his shield, I can break it like that. Oh shoot. The axe also, as I'd like to show you, has more base damage than the sword, but it has a slower attack speed. See, sword is 1.6, diamond axe is 1. It may not seem as that much of a difference, but trust me, it actually does make a lot more of a difference. It is also recommended to use the sword and axe game modes, because you can also hit really good combos with that. There are also bows and stuff in case you do want to hit combos with axe. Like, watch. I could do that, then that, and then like start comboing him like that. Just letting you know, I am not even that good at the game. This is just within learning a few of the basics. I'm still waiting proper tier testing and training, so I'm not fully registered. You may be wondering, what happens if you don't have your, what happens if you drop your axe and you aren't able to disable the shield? Well, there's a thing that is able to happen with a magical button or a magical thing called hitboxes, where if you can see the player's hitbox, which is basically the actual area that the player makes up, that's not the character. If you can learn how to turn that around, then you can hit from behind them. For example, Control F3B, hitboxes are shown, and sorry for the little bit of a lag spike. My game started to not want to be live and started crashing. But as you can see, these are the hitboxes. You see that area that the person takes up? That is their hitbox, where you could see it's not fully their body. Like, for example, if I were to try to punch his arm, it would do no damage, like what happened. But that's why I had to hit the hitbox. And that red line is his eye line, so that's where the viewer's POV is. You may be wondering why there's the blue lines right here. That's because every item, or not every item, most items have a hitbox, or anything that takes up entities in Minecraft. An entity is anything. What did he just drop? Axe is by far one of my best, or my favorite game modes, specifically because I just don't know why. I just really love Axe. I find it very simple, and I just find it easier than other PvP game modes. And last, but definitely not least, we have the mace. So the mace is one of Minecraft's most powerful weapons, for it can just watch. The mace does damage based on how high up you are. So if I were to hit him like that, you can see that did a lot of damage to him. And there's a lot of other fun techniques with the mace that I could try out. Like, for example, there's a bunch of there's something called attribute swapping, where attribute swapping is one of the hardest techniques in Minecraft. Well, for me, because I use the scrolly wheel on your mouse. But it's where you switch from slot to slot so fast that you trick the game into thinking you're holding one item, and it takes both of the items' abilities and combines them, which might seem really good, which it's actually not. You can only do very specific things, but the specific things involve one of the maces. For example, this is a breach mace. Breach is an enchantment for the mace, where it ignores all of your opponent's armor. So there's a thing called breach swapping, where if I were to swing it with my axe in it, my axe would get the power, and it would also ignore his armor, almost one-shotting it. So if I were to, I can't hit it. It's too hard for. You could also use attribute swapping for another mace technique called stun slamming, which is basically where you just hit his. He holds out a shield, tries to block the mace, like that, and you hit your axe really fast with it, and you disable it. So hold out your mace. Like that, where you disable it and mace him really fast. You see, what I just equipped just then is called an elytra. It's basically like wings that allow you to fly, but you can use them as a movement for mace. What I just did there was called elytra macing, which is extremely hard, especially when you use rockets. And